What's up, guys, and welcome back for another EVE Online video. I'm going to be talking about kind of the stuff that went on in Fanfest, the stuff that was kind of revealed, my thoughts on it. I watched everything on Twitch, probably like the vast majority of people, but for the most part, what they announced was okay. I do have my opinions on quite a bit of the things that they kind of spoiled. And I don't know, the keynote felt a little cringe to me, but I think a lot of their public speakers are just not really kind of used to the whole bit. But with all that aside, the main event essentially is Havoc, that expansion, which comes out in November. To me personally, I don't think I was too far off on my speculation about what that whole thing was going to be, but when they started running us through kind of what Havoc was going to be, to me it just felt like more faction warfare. I don't have anything against faction warfare. I just think that some new and innovating things would be nice to see. To me, Havoc just seems like faction warfare, but just adding more factions to it. I think it is pretty cool where you can like side with Angel or Guristas and all that stuff. I think that'll be interesting to kind of rep grind all of that. And then obviously like all of the mechanics within the new system and all that are pretty cool. I would hope that in new things like the hazards and the dangers and that system kind of make its way to other areas of New Eden. That would be kind of a cool mechanic to have. And then obviously they talk about the Angel Titan coming out. So, and it looks pretty cool. I'm curious. I didn't watch like the very detailed stuff going over like the ships and all of that stuff for the Angel and the Greases, like the battle cruisers and stuff. I'll probably dig a little bit more into that. But my overall impression of Havoc is, yeah, it sounds cool. Does it affect me? Not necessarily as an industrialist. I know they didn't talk pretty much at all about industry, mining, manufacturing, any of that stuff. So as expected, that's going to go pretty much untouched. And then they announced Vanguard, along with a lot of other like mobile games and things like that. So they talked about Eve Echoes and the stuff coming to that, and then the the Galaxy Conquest or something mobile game, which take it or leave it. But Vanguard is an interesting thing, and what you saw in I don't know if anybody knows, but like what you saw in the FanFest, them playing, was essentially like a vertical slice, right? To me, it just felt I know they were playing on computers and stuff like that, but it was very orchestrated. You could tell by kind of the way that they were walking us through it, which is fine. It's very, very early, like they said, pre-alpha, but I'm not sure anybody really asked for FPS. I think a lot of the reasons why they're doing FPS is because a lot of other space games that they're, potentially competing against in the future are going to be doing both space and FPS kind of stuff. Now, they talked about Vanguard being a module. I don't know if I feel like they mean it's going to be a game module, but I can also see it being a ship module, like a VAT bay, like a Vanguard clone bay that you would fit to your ship and then potentially allows you to deploy fleet members down to planet side. Now, I do think Vanguard could be very, very interesting if there's a seamless connection to what is already Eve. So in my mind, what a good implementation or execution of a FPS in Eve, I would want to like go to a planet or a moon. I would want to like transition down to the planet, do a mission, do some mining, and then when I extract, come back up to my ship. I want to be able to actually like loot things like the nanites and stuff that they were kind of looting on that vertical slice that we saw. And then when I come back to my ship, I want to be able to see those nanites in my cargo hold and be able to not just strictly play on one side of the fence, being Vanguard, and then having a whole other character on the other. I want there to be kind of like a way to play both. So if I want to actually like, if as a solo player, if I want to be able to go down and do stuff, I can. I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of more, I'm sure there'll be more detail coming out in the future, but as it stands right now, I'm kind of on the fence about what Vanguard is. I think it could be exciting. They talked a lot about strengthening organizations, which is cool. I actually found a lot of the talks in FanFest about like the telescope and kind of all the predator prey stuff. Probably the most interesting part of FanFest, which is kind of weird because usually a keynote is kind of what everybody is wanting to go on. But overall, I think it was a pretty good FanFest. Interesting to watch. You got most of the drops. Unfortunately, they cut the live stream for day 2 early, or before the actual drop campaign for the CCP channel ended. So I was stuck at like 89% on Twitch for that last Vargar skin. And I wasn't the only one that was complaining about that. It was a lot of people in chat that was like, just let it run for a little bit longer, and so everybody can do what they gotta do. They talked about Alliance Tournament 20 and more Plex for Good and everything. They did talk a lot. I found the Project Discovery talk really interesting. They also talked about there'll be a mobile app, not necessarily just for Project Discovery, but like kind of for all citizen science projects that are going on in the gaming space. But they did talk about that with that citizen science app, that we'll be able to complete our Project Discovery and still get credit in the rewards in game, which I think is really cool. I've always wanted to be able to work on my Project Discovery on like mobile, and then be able to not necessarily have to sit at the computer and do it, which I think will vastly increase the amount of submissions that people do and the engagement we get from Project Discovery. And then here's the other one, the Eve Galaxy Conquest game, which, I mean, it's a mobile game. It's essentially just like a strategy game for the most part, which could be interesting. I might try it. I think it's going to be covered in microtransaction like all mobile games are, but I think it would be interesting to kind of mess around with it and see everything. But overall, like I said, it's a lot of stuff to think about. It's a lot of stuff to kind of see how it develops and everything. I want to go look at this schedule to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, like I said, Havoc. This online place in Multiverse, that guy's talk was interesting. Actually, I thought all of the guest speakers were actually pretty interesting for the most part. And then they talked a lot about the board game and all that stuff. But in terms of like Viridian didn't really hit my play loop pretty much at all. So it was kind of like I covered it and it was like, yeah, cool, whatever. Havoc, kind of the same way. We'll see more of like when they start talking about when we get closer to the date. I haven't really went as far as like purchasing a Titan because I just don't have the need for one. But it would be kind of interesting if I can get up to. I might end up actually buying the Angel Titan because it does actually look pretty cool in my opinion. It really kind of depends on what weapon systems. I mean, my main can pretty much fly anything and shoot any type of weapon system, but it's really going to depend on what it kind of looks like and the availability. I think it's going to be really expensive for the most part. And then they opened up the keynote with like the gates coming online and everything like that. I haven't actually ventured over to the new system because I just don't see the point for the most part. But other than that, I just wanted to kind of like talk about what my thoughts were on Havoc, Vanguard. There are definitely some stuff to get excited about. I think I will still play like the FPS Vanguard stuff, even if it isn't directly connected. I mean, I think what they're talking about is they're definitely wanting it to be within the same one game, right? It's gonna be like the what's below is above, or whatever the terminology they were using. So it's definitely going to be like you can log into EVE Online and still do Vanguard, but I want there to be like resources and the rewards and the loot that we can do on planet side to transfer over maybe to space where we can sell them and tie in a lot of that stuff. It would be interesting to actually see PI actually be able to be interacted with at the planet level, so you could actually like go up to your outposts and go up to your factories and you could work your PI or do whatever in first person. That'd be pretty interesting. There's a lot they could do with first person additions into EVE, doing like cave mining on planets or like, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. I hope that they don't strictly keep it this like Halo-esque or this, pure combat PvP-esque, type of game mode. I think there's a lot of like different applications that they can do in terms of PvE, but we'll see how it goes. Probably on November 14th when Havoc comes out, I'll try to jump over in that system and, cause some problems and get some footage. Or I might, the system's open now. I might do a video where I'm flying through there and kind of checking it out. It really depends. But yep, that's pretty much my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of all the stuff that they talked about in FanFest and everything. And I will see you guys in the next one.